Hi everyone. So Salesforce data loader. So today we are going to see that Salesforce data loader, and last session we have installed the data loader. This session we are going to see what are the settings and how to export the data from Salesforce to the local system, and how can I connect Salesforce to the data loader, and what is a security token, where can I enter the security token, and what is the export all, and how can we do the insert from the local system to the Salesforce, and then we have some referral links. So data loader tool that we have installed in the last session. So data loader is on-premise tool provided by the Salesforce, which is used to perform a export and import. And by using the data loader, we can interact only with one object at a time. So if I wanted to insert account and contact records both, so at a time, I can either insert a account records or either I can insert a contact records. So data loader allows to perform maximum of 5 million records at a time. That means I can insert 5 million records at a time. So data loader supports the 7 operation that is provided by the Salesforce. One is export, export all, insert, update, and upsert. And then we have a delete, hard delete. These are the 7 operations which are provided in the data loader. So whenever you open a data loader, so just click on a data loader that last time whatever we have installed it. So whenever you click on a data loader, there is some in the command prompt, it gets executed this, and then it will bring up this welcome to data loader. So here we have a 7 operation: insert, update, upsert, delete, hard delete, export, export all. So in the data loader setting, so we have here, there is a data loader setting file, which is available, settings, view, help. So if you go to the settings, click on the settings and then click on the settings. So when you click on the settings, you will see different options that are available. You will see different options that are available here. Now in the setting, the important one is bulk API that we need to enable. Bulk API that we need to enable. So see here option in the settings we have. The option is called use bulk API. This is one, and then another one which is there, enable serial mode of bulk API. These two has to be enabled. So bulk API is optimized to load the data. So basically, so optimize the load or delete large number of records asynchronously. If you enable that bulk API, so what will happen is instead of going into the synchronously, asynchronously it is going to update it. Asynchronously it is going to either delete or a load, insert, whatever we are doing a action, parallelly everything will be performing the action. So it is a faster than the SOAP-based API due to the parallel processing. So whenever we select a bulk API option, the records gets processed parallelly so that it will be a bit faster. And by default, data loader uses the SOAP-based API to process the record. This is at the back end. So whenever we are trying to perform insert, that means from the local system. So this is my local system. This is local system, and this is the data loader, and this is the Salesforce. So whenever I'm trying to perform the data loader, either from the local system, either I'm doing the insert or update or delete, what are the action we are performing it. So what we are doing is, let's suppose insert, I'm doing it. So whenever I insert, I'm doing it. From the local copy, I am placing the CSV file in the data loader. Using the data loader, I'm pushing the data to the Salesforce. So how I'm going to push the data to the Salesforce? There we are using the Salesforce based API process. So there is a API that gets used by the Salesforce. And insert null values. So there is another option is called insert null values. So settings, go to the settings. So here is the insert null values. Insert null values. When you check this insert null values, what will happen is whenever we are loading a CSV file, and if this insert null option is enabled, if this insert null option is enabled, so what will happen is the data loader to insert the blank mapped values as a null values during the data loader. So whenever we are doing the bulk API, so let's assume that when the bulk API is disabled, empty field values are ignored. Wherever the empty fields are there, those are ignored. So when you update the record using the bulk API to set the field value to the null, when the use bulk API option is selected, use the field of kind of a hash n/a. That means in case if you do not want to ignore the null values, assume that I have a CSV file. In that CSV file, few records have some blank values. In case if you do not want to ignore them, then what you wanted to do is just update that insert null values. And then another one which we have allow field truncation. There is another one which is having a allow field truncation. Allow field truncation is this option directs the data loader to truncate the data for certain field type. When the bulk API is disabled, a data loader option fails for the rows if the values is specified that is too large for the field when use the bulk API option is selected. That means let's assume that you have a field data type. You have a field data type length is 20 characters. In the Salesforce, the name field, I have a name field and the data type is 20 characters. Now in the CSV file, you are entering the name which is a 50 characters. In the data loader in the CSV file, you have one of the name which is almost 50 characters are there. As per this data type, as per the Salesforce data type, it is a 20. So what will happen is, if you do not want to load entire data, so automatically I wanted to truncate this to the 20. I want automatically whatever this long text is there, this needs to be automatically truncated. Then in that case, if I select this allow field truncation, so what will happen is it is going to truncate it. We will see this option, how it is working it. Right, so those are the options. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and select insert null values, use bulk API checked, enable serial mode of bulk API is checked, and then allow field truncation. So these all are checked. Now, if I uncheck this, observe these options. If I uncheck, what will happen is the batch size is automatically comes as a 200 and the insert null values is enabled and allow field truncation is enabled. But when I check bulk API, these two options are disabled. That means automatically bulk API is going to take care. This is disabled, and the batch size increased to 2000. And the batch size is increased to 2000. Observe this. So I'm unselecting it. Whenever I say unselect it, so I can do unselect or unselect on these options which are available here, right? And the batch size is 200. But as soon as I say use bulk API option, immediately insert null values and allow field truncation is automatically disabled, and my batch size is getting increased to the 2000. So that is what is mentioned here. When the bulk API is disabled, that time we can do the either enabling or a disabling, we can do it. In case if the bulk option is selected, a load operation fails for the row if value is specified that too large. That means in case if I have a bulk API is selected, whenever the bulk API is selected, these two are disabled. You cannot select this. So that means whenever the bulk API we are doing it, automatically, if you have any field, the length is too long, then it will give an error because this is not turned on. You cannot switch on this whenever we are using the bulk API. So that time we will see there is a error message that is coming as a too large of the field value. The too large of the field value. Similarly, for the insert null values also, whenever the bulk API is disabled, you can enable this insert null values so that what will happen is blank will be mapped to the value as null values. In case if you are enabling the bulk API, then what will happen? The fields values are set it as a, like in case if you have a null values, it will throw an error. In case if you do not want empty values are ignored, then you have to mention this name. Okay, so this hash n by n/a, so that it will be updated properly. So in case if you do not want empty value, empty value should be ignored. So in case if you do not specify this hash n by a, what will happen is empty field values are ignored when you update the record using the bulk API. That means when you check this bulk API, and if you just have a blank value there, so those values will be ignored. In case if you do not want those to be ignored, then you have to specify in the CSV file hash n by a. So those are the options. For now, what I'm doing is I'm enabling the bulk API so that this insert null values allow field truncation is switched off. Now enable serial mode for bulk API. That is the another one which is available here, enable serial mode for bulk API. So that is also we need to switch on. Now let's go ahead and see export. Now we are done with setting up this. So once we are done, settings. Okay. Now, next one which we are going to see is export. We are going to see the export one. So this export, what is this? How we are going to do it? So by using this export operation, we can fetch required information or required details from Salesforce object to the local system. From the Salesforce object to the local system. So while exporting the records, we can add the required user defined conditions to be used in the filter criteria. That means in case if you have a 2000 record or 50,000 record in account object, so you do not want 50,000 records to be exported. So if you have any specific conditions, like let's assume industry equal to banking, only those records I wanted to export it. Or if you have a different condition, we can specify those conditions in the data loader by writing the query, by building the SQL query, we can mention that. So we can add a filter there. and we can restrict the number of records to be returned using the limit class. So we know that limit class is used in the SOCL. So in the SOCL, we can mention the limit class, like a limit 5 records, limit 10 records, so that it will fetch only the 10 records. Now, if I click on this export, what will ask is, the first thing it is getting asked is, first step, the step 1 is we need to connect the data loader to the Salesforce. We need to connect this data loader to the Salesforce. In order to connect this to the Salesforce, we have two options here. One is OAuth option, another one is a password authentication. You can go with either of one, which is totally fine. So we have two options, OAuth and password authentication. So when you log into the data loader, there are two options. One is a login, OAuth, which is the first one, OAuth, and then the second one is password authentication. Now, when you go for a OAuth authentication, what happens is it will open the authentication which requires the access token. This requires an access token, right? And when you go for a password authentication, in this approach, developer has to log in the data loader by using the Salesforce account credentials along with the security token. Now, first, let me show you the OAuth. So OAuth is, you need to select which environment you are connecting it. Developer edition is a production. In the real time, if you are connecting with your sandbox, you can choose the sandbox here. Okay. So here we are connecting to the developer sandbox. Now click on a login. So when you click on a login, it will ask username and password, similar to the what we have whenever we try to log into the Salesforce. Same way we have here username and password. Let me get my user credentials. Just a second. So I'm entering my username and then I'm entering the password and click on this login. So Samskar IT2. So let me just a second. So click on login. Okay, it is verifying the Salesforce username and password. Now it is connected to my org. Now in case if you wanted to cross verify, what you can do is file or settings. You can go to the settings. You can check here the host that is connected. Click on its settings, go to the settings. We have a server host. What is the server host? It is connected. You can cross verify. So it is connected to the correct org. So that is the first step. And whenever you are doing the data loader, make sure once you are done with the all your step, log out from the current, wherever you have connected the org. Once you are done with the data loader part, log out it. Because next time, whenever you are doing it, for example, next time you are doing it for the different org. So in that case, it will not ask you to enter the login credentials. So you will be doing it by mistakenly, you will be loading the data to the different Salesforce org. So that's the reason every time whenever you are done with the data loader part, just log out it. So that means it will log out from the connected org, right? And the second one is password authentication. For the password authentication, what you have to do is you need to enter the user ID password. Along with that, you need to enter the security token. You need to enter the security token. So when you select the password authentication, it will ask username, password, Salesforce login URL. So just mention your URL here. The URL is, what are the URL you see? This is the URL till the .com. So copy this, mention that URL into the Salesforce login URL and mention the username and the password. Enter the password. Along with the password, you need to use the security token. You need to use the security token. So how can you get the security token is you need to go to the profile icon and click on a settings link, and there you will see the reset my security token. So basically go to your Salesforce, click on your profile and click on these settings. It will take you to the your org information, and below the personal information, you will see reset my security token. You will see the option called below the personal information, reset security token. So just click on this reset security token. Once you click on that reset security token, you will receive an email. You will receive an email. So the email will go to the whatever the registered, the email ID is there. So for that email ID, there is a one email that will goes out. So you will receive like this. So one email will be receiving it with the username, and there will be a security token with the case sensitive. So copy the exactly same. So what you have to do is enter the password. Enter the password enter the password plus security token, both combine it. So that means if your password is, so here in the password section, in case if your password is, let's say K1234, this is your password. So after entering the password, whatever the security token is there, that security token you have to copy here. So this is enter your password. It has to be entered here. Like this, you need to enter. Clear? Any questions on the login to the data loader? Okay. So now we are connected to the Salesforce. I have connected to the Salesforce. How can I identify whether I'm connected to the Salesforce or not? If you go to the settings, you will see that server host. So this is my server host. It is connected to the Okay, so now we are going to export the data. Now we are going to export the data. So for this, I'll be choosing here. The second step is I need to select the object. I need to select the objects. So let's click on export. Now this is the second step. Now here I can see the objects which are like available. Usually we can see in the object manager. In case if I wanted to see all the objects, let's suppose if I select this object, like I can see ABC, right? So there are something account feed, account contact role, account contact relationship, account share. So whatever the objects that are available inside the system, everything I can see it here. Everything I can see it here. The case history, case milestone, like all these are available. Basically, all the objects that are exist in the Salesforce, everything I can see it. But right now, we are going to do it only for the objects that we can see. So let's assume that I'm selecting the patient object. I'm selecting the patient object. Okay. So for this patient object, now I'm choosing the target for the extraction is extract.csv. You can give any name here, that should be totally fine. Click on browse. When you click on a browse, it will take you to a folder where you wanted to enter. Basically, I wanted to create a CSV file here. I wanted to create a CSV file here. So I'll say that extract.csv. Extract.csv. So click on it, save. So it will give now complete path of yours. Complete path of the whatever wherever we have saved on it, we can see that. Now, as soon as I create a CSV, you cannot see the file here. File is not yet created. We just mentioned I need the CSV file should be stored here, but it is not yet saved. The saving will happen once the data loader is completed. Now I'll click on it, next step. I'll click on it, next step. So step 3 is edit your query. Edit your query. So we have few things. We have few things here in the third step. The one you can see here, the below box, it is actually a SOQL query, where you will be writing the SOQL query. And here the query field, all the fields that are exist in the object, we can see all the fields. Now you can select here fields. When you select it, the query gets built here. You can click on this select all fields. So what will happen is all the fields will be selected at a time. Right, and then we have a where condition. In case if you wanted to write a where condition, you can specify the field name and you can specify the operation and you can specify the value. And if you click on add condition, what will happen is in the existing SOQL query, the where condition gets added. The where condition gets added. Now let's go ahead here. Now if I say select all fields, I can see all the fields here. All the fields, even last modified, last viewed, everything I can see. Let's suppose I do not want to see the is deleted. So you can delete this. Whatever you do not want, you can delete it from here, or else you can clear all of them and basically you can choose the one which you needed. So you can do the clear all. So what you can do is I need a branch. Right, created by ID, date, I do not need. ID, I need it. Is deleted, last modified, these all I do not need it. Name, I need. Patient number, PN_C. Patient information, patient number, system, I do not need. Is blank for number. Yes, I need. Is blank for text, I need. Basically, these all are formula fields. So let's not take it up. Is number. Now that's all. Branch, name, phone number, patient information, patient number. That is all. So let's quickly go ahead and check. Click on more, patience. So let's click on a new record. Is there anything mandatory here? Branch is the mandatory. That should be fine. Okay. Now, how many records do I have? I have all the records here. I have only one record. Okay, so I have only one record here. That should be fine. Now, this is what you have selected. Now, in case if you wanted to add any condition, what you can do is you can select a name operation equal to, you can say whatever the value is there. So if you say here, value is equal, add condition, what happened? It is added the where condition. Added the where condition. Right? So I do not want that. So I'll be clearing all conditions. Now I'll click on a next button. When I click on a next button, it will ask you have chosen to perform an export. Click yes to be begin. Do you want to insert or do you want to proceed for this? It just kind of a warning message. So click on a yes, that should be all fine. So it is operation in progress. As soon as you click on a finish, it says that the operation has fully completed. There were one successful extraction and 0 errors. That means right now I can see a file is getting created here, extract. A file is created here, extract in the folder. Now, if I click on here, view extraction, it will open up the file. What are the files that I have exported? So right now I have only one file, so I have exported it. Only one record is there, which is exported. Now, in case if you wanted to open the file externally, so you can click on this so that the CSV file gets open. So I have clicked on this. So the file is open. Now you can see this is the file. Right, so this is how it will be exported. Now, this is your CSV settings. It's nothing to do with the Salesforce. This is what your CSV settings. So basically it is exported with the same data, but once it is stored into the CSV, whatever the CSV formats that you have, it will be converted. So whenever you see that kind of a data, it is basically your CSV data, CSV format is wrong. So in that case, what you can do is right click on this. We have a format cell. Now if I give generic, click on OK. See, 3, 5, whatever, 3.5. Now this is also same format cell, generic number, currency, accounting, time, percentage, text, special, custom, right? This is also I'm selecting as this. So that is all about your CSV file format. Now click on close button and click on OK. Click on OK. Now your export is done. Export is completed. So we have seen the warning message, operation in progress, extracted 2 records, right? How many successful it will give, how many errors it will give. So that's about the export. Any questions on the export? So homework, by using the data loader, export the account records where the industry is banking. Only the account record should be exported where the industry is banking. Second one, by using the data loader, export the opportunity records where the stage is need analysis. And the third one is, by using the data loader, export the lead records. There is no criteria here. There is no condition for the lead records. You need to export the lead records. Now, let me show you the export all. The next option is we have a export all. Now, so far we have seen the export. Now we are going to see the export all. Now, what is the difference between the export and export all? Now, by using this feature, export is whatever the records that are exist in the Salesforce object, that actively those are available, those I can export it. Let's assume that I have a recycle bin, few records which are exist in my recycle bin also. Few records that are exist in recycle bin. Now I wanted to pull the records that are in the recycle bin. I wanted to pull the records that are in recycle bin. Let's assume that lead records that I wanted to pull from the recycle bin. For that, we need to use the export all. So that means export all the record inside the object along with the deleted records. I need all the active leads as well as the inactive leads. That means the deleted records also I want. Along with the original one, deleted records also I need the information. For that, we use a export all. So we can differentiate the deleted record using we have a field called is deleted. If you say is delete equal to true, then it is going to bring you the records that are exist in the recycle bin. If you specify is deleted equal to false, that means I do not want the recycle bin data. I want the active one. So this is mainly going to play a role in the export all. So is delete equal to true, is delete equal to false. True is nothing but it is deleted records. False is nothing but not deleted records. So let's see. Now I'm going to export all. So for the export all, I'm going to do the lead record. So I'm selecting the lead record, browse. I'll say here lead.csv. Click on save. And I'll click on a next button. Now I have so many fields in the lead. So I'll take address, annual revenue, city, company, country. I do not need this description, email, first name, ID, industry is deleted, last name, lead source, mobile phone name, number of locations, number of employees. I think that is a formula field. Phone, I think this should be fine. We have few more, but that should be all good. So these fields are fine. We can go ahead, status. Okay. These are the fields that I wanted to export. But I wanted to add a condition here. The condition is deleted because I'm so much interested in the one which are deleted equals to, I'll say true. Add condition. It says where is deleted equal to true. I'm only pulling the data that are deleted. Here I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 records are there. 10 records are deleted. So those 10 records I'm going to pull it. So now I'm clicking on finish. It's a warning, just click on a proceed. So it says that there were 10 successful extractions and 0 errors. View extraction, what are the records it is pulled? The records it is pulling the data is deleted equal to true. And the records are lead test 1, 2, 3 till 10. And those are the records that are there here, right? Salesforce lead test. So Salesforce lead test, exactly. So all of them are open status, close. So that's how we will do the extract all. Homework for the extract all, delete 5 contact records and by using the data loader, export all the contact records, the one which are active, the one which are deleted, both of them. Delete 5 hiring manager records by using the data loader, export all the hiring manager records. And next one is by using the data loader, export all the student records. Any questions on the export all? And the next one which we are going to do is insert.
Swapna?
Yeah.
Actually, when we have discussed, right, if I deleted few records, those will be in recycle bin for 15 days. If I delete permanently also, I will delete in recycle bin. If I try to pull, will it come?
Let's do that. So I'm going to delete.
Actually, in real time, that will not work out, but just how the Salesforce is managing to know.
So let's delete this. I'm deleting it, lead records. Are you sure you wanted to delete the selected records? Yes. No, perfect. I do not have any lead records. Now what I'll do is I'll click on export all and I'll select the lead, browse it. I'll say lead1.csv, click on save, click on next. I'm selecting all the fields. All the fields, and here where condition is deleted. Equals to true. Add the condition. Now I have the condition here where is deleted equal to true. Click on a finish. Yes. 10 were successfully extracted. So as I have discussed, we cannot see in the recycle bin, but still you can try to push because there is some limitations will be there. How many days it has to be stayed in there. Because if you remember, whenever we were discussing the Apex side, we were running the query is deleted equal to true. So if I go to the data loader, sorry, developer console, in the developer console, if I say query editor, select ID, comma name from lead, where is deleted equal to true. It is going to, it's giving me the 0 records. Now let me execute the same thing. Export all, lead. I'm going to take the existing one, lead one. Save, click on next. Yes. Click on finish. Yes. It's pulling the data. But when I'm running the query, I cannot see that the data loader one. Okay, when I'm running the query in the developer console, I cannot see any records, but it is pulling the data in the data loader. Probably there must be somewhere it is storing this data. So next one is a insert. So by using this operation, we can insert maximum of 5 million records inside the Salesforce. So we have to supply the input records in the form of CSV file. And we have to map the Excel sheet columns to the associated fields inside the object. We will see that. So once the operation has been done, it will generate 2 output files. So right now you can see here, when we are doing the extract or extract all, I can see only one file is getting generated here. But for the insert, there are 2 files that gets generated. One is a success file, another one is an error file. Success file is nothing but how many records are successfully processed, pushed to the Salesforce. Error file is going to give you the how many records are failed while inserting the record in the Salesforce. Now, if the user did not supply the mandatory field value, passing the wrong values to the field, then the record insertion will get failed. So let me open the one which we did an extract. Now here I can see this is the file. So I have a branch and ID, name, PN number, patient number. These are the data is available. For the insert, I'm going to use the same file. But for the insert, I do not need the ID because these are the new records. These are new records. For these new records, I do not need the ID. So I'm going to insert few more records here. So let's say that I'm going to insert the 5 records. So let's say one is Bharati, Jyoti, Shailaja, Shankar. Okay, so CTO, CEO, CFO, VP, PM. Okay, so now I'm going to save this record file, save as data loader. So I'll say that this is for the insert patient record dot CSV file. I need to save the record as a CSV file. I need to save the file as a .csv. Extension has to be .csv. Now I have the file ready. So what I'll do is I'll go to the data loader, click on insert. Now, which object am I inserting? I'm inserting the patient record. Click on a browse. I'll take this insert file, the one which is we have created. Click on it next. Now the insert, it is little bit different compared to the export all. When I click on a insert, it is going to tell you that how many records are there. So right now we have added 5 records. So click on OK. Once you click on OK, whatever you see these files are exist in the CSV file. These files are present in the CSV file. So if you open this CSV file, what are the header, the first row record, header values are there. Right, so these are the fields. Right now I have opened the lead record. So whatever you see this header, that is basically a field name. So these are the field names that are exist in the Salesforce. Now you need to map this CSV file column header with the Salesforce file API. File column header with the Salesforce field API names. So you have two options here. One is create or edit map, and another one, choose an existing map. So when you click on a create or edit map, it will open one window gets open. Basically, you need to map it. So in order to map it, either you can drag it and place it here. Like I want the branch to be mapped with the branch and name to be mapped with the name, right? Wherever you see here name, that you can do it, drag it and drop it, or else you can click on this auto match field to the column. When you click on it, so it is the data loader is automatically try to identify the nearest API field, the Salesforce API field and the CSV file column header. If anything is matching, it will try to bring those fields and map it here. Once you are done with the mapping, here two options are there, OK and save mapping. When you click on a save mapping, so what will happen is, this is a patient. You can save this in your local system. So what will happen is when you save this in the local system, next time when you come here, so you can choose the existing one. Instead of create or edit map, choose an existing one. So you have already mapped one, you can use that. You have already mapped one, you can use it. Why PN underscore C is not coming? Because this is a formula field. For the formula fields, you will not find the mapping. Data loader only puts the value to the text, integer, number, tick list, all these things, but not the formula field. It will not put the data to the inside the formula field because formula fields are not editable. So right now PN underscore C is formula field. So that's the reason we do not have any field for that mapping. So that is totally fine. And I'll click on next. Now, when I click on a next one, it is going to ask me that where do you wanted to store the files that are generated by the insert, right? Because the insert is going to generate the success file, the error file. Now I'll say that store those in the data loader. Store those in the data loader. Now fine, click on finish. When I click on finish, it will say that it's just a warning message. Click on yes. So what will happen is it is processing into the bulk API insert. Bulk API insert is processing. The operation successfully completed. There were 5 successful and 0 errors. If you click on a view success, it will show you what are the items that are successful. And then at the end of the column, this what are the status is there. This is created by the Salesforce. We have not done this. So once it is successfully inserting is done, it will say that there is a new column that gets added by the Salesforce saying the name of the column is status. So this status is created once the data loader is done. So that means how many records are successful it is going to give you. And then ID is getting generated. ID is getting generated and you will have a row number. So this is how you will see the success file. Now at the same time, there is another file that gets generated, error file that gets generated. Now here also you can see the error information. It will give you the error information. Now page error information and then it is going to give you the row number. It is going to give you the row number. Now let's suppose right now I have a branch field. Branch is mandatory. Now there are 2 files are created here, right? Now I'll open the insert P. Let me insert few more records. So let's say this time, Sidita, Naresh, Nagamani. Right, so I'm inserting the 3 records. I'm deleting the rest of them. Now here branch is important. So for Naresh, I'll not give the branch. And here, and for the Nagamani, I'm just giving the name. So I'm giving the name too long. I'm giving the name, very long name I'm giving it, which is too long. So fine, I'm giving the too long name for the Nagamani, and the second one branch is not there. I'm removing it. So let's say, perfect. Now let's go to the insert. I'm inserting the patient record. Click on a browse, insert P, open, click on a next. 3 records I'm inserting it. Now this time I need not to go to the create or edit map. I can just use the choose an existing one. So this is the patient STL format, .STL. So the map will be stored as a .STL format. So you can use the .STL format. Now I have the mapping is done. Click on next and then finish. Yes. Loading using the bulk API. Now you see here, 1 successful insert, 2 errors. Now first click on the view, the one which is successful. So it says that item is created. This is the ID. And what are the 2 errors? Now you can open the 2 errors. Now if you go to at the end, it will say the first one is a required field is missing. Required field is missing. For Naresh, I did not give the branch. Right? So the required field is missing. Here it is giving the required field. And the second one, string too long. String too long. The patient name is too long. Why it is giving patient name is too long? Because I have a setup, which is a bulk API. I'll go here, I'll remove the bulk API. Now I can see that allow field truncation. Allow field truncation and then close it. Let me cross verify once again. Okay, just hold on it. Settings. Now click on your settings. There is a save button at the bottom. I cannot see that. Okay, so now click on setting. Okay, now I have a allow field truncation. Now I'll insert same file. Okay, settings. Now let's click on insert. I lost my credentials. Click on login, verifying the yes, verifying the Salesforce username password, click on login, click on next. I'm doing the patient browse it, same file, I'm loading it and click on next. Yes, 3 records, click on OK. Choose an existing one. So patient.sdl file, click on next. Perfectly fine, click on finish. Yes. See, this time 2 files are successful because in the setting, I checked allow truncation. Now, what is the second one which is inserted? See, this file is inserted and it is truncated the data, truncated the long text. So if you want truncation should be happen automatically, then you need to set that. So in the setting, go to the setting, say here allow field truncation. What will happen is automatically the field truncation will happen. So that's insert. So step 3, we have seen the mapping. So in this mapping dialog, either you can click on this auto match field and then you can save the mapping. Step 4, we have clicked on the finish. Once the finish file is done, then it is going to give you the information, how many records are successful, how many records are failure. And you can, by clicking on this button called view success, you can see all the success details. By clicking on the button view errors, you can view all the errors. So homework, by using the data loader, insert contact records. And by using the data loader, insert the hiring manager records. And by using the data loader, insert student records. And by using the data loader, insert the lead records. You can choose how many records you wanted to insert, but just try to play with the insert done. Now the next one is an update. Before moving on, update, any question on insert? Okay, so in the update, so basically it is same format. Update is by using the update operation, we can update the existing records by assigning the values for the fields. That means either you can modify the field value or you can basically in the CSV file, you are modifying some data. So we can updating either one field or a more record fields inside the object. So while updating the records with the data loader, the CSV file should have the record ID. So for the insert one, we do not have a record ID. But whenever we are updating the record, updating is performing it, that time we need to have a record ID. Without record ID, we cannot perform it. So let's go ahead and do one of the updates. So right now we have a file here. Let me open. So let me open the one which is, this is a success file. So I'll use this success file. I'll delete this. Now we have inserted this record. So let me show you in the Salesforce. So if I go to the patient record, right, all these records are inserted. Now what I'm going to do is, let me place patient information, patient number. Now I'm going to update patient information and patient number, as well as patient name. I'm going to update the patient name and patient number. So let me open that CSV file. So here I have a name. So let's take this here. Name is, and give Karthik, CTO, Bharati, CEO, Jyoti, CFO, Shailaja, VP, Shankar, PM. This is the data, I'm updating it, and here I'm going to drag it. So let's say some data, I'm going to update it. Okay. Patient number I'm updated, and the name is also I have updated. Now I'm going to save this file, save as total data loader. Go to update.csv file, click on save. Now let's go to the data loader. Let's click on update. Patient information. So I'm selecting the patient object, and here I'm selecting the update CSV file. See here, at a time I can perform only single object. I cannot choose the multiple objects here. So at a time I can use the only single object. Data loader can be happen. Click on next. So 5 records, it says okay. Now I cannot choose the existing one because right now I have an ID also. So let me go to the create or edit map. I'll click on it, auto match. So it got the branch is not there. So that should be fine. Click on OK. Because the branch is the lookup field. So for the lookup field, it does not have any field here. Lookup field, it does not have. If I choose the existing one, so patient.sdl, open. Now I can see the branch is coming. Now I'll click on edit. Now the ID, I'm going to drag it here. Click on OK. Perfectly fine. Click on next. And then finish. This is a warning. That should be fine. 5 errors. What is the error? Unable to create, update the field branch. Because sales, that is the lookup field. So when we go to the update, go to the patient, click on the file, update, and click on in next, okay. Now if you click on here, I cannot see the branch field. So basically the lookup fields, we cannot find it for the mapping. So in case if you do not see any field here, do not map it, because that is not allowed for the update. For the update, we cannot do the update on the lookup fields. So click on OK. Now click on next. Finish. Yes. Now all the 5 records are updated successfully. If I go to the Salesforce, click on refresh. Now I can see that what are the 5 records that are updated. It is coming with name and the patient number is also updated. Click on OK. So that's all about the update. Update homework by using the data loader. Update the contact records like a phone number, tile, mobile, email. And the second one is by using the data loader, update the hiring manager records, designation, email address, current CTC. By using the data loader, update the student records, description, skills. And the next one is by using the data loader, update the lead records. We have a industry, lead status, website, rating, lead source. You can update all these fields. And the next one is a upsert. Upsert is basically, as we all know, upsert is nothing but it's a combination of update plus insert. update plus insert. So by using the update of, sorry. So upsert is basically update plus insert. That means how will you know? So for example, right now you have the IDs are there here. Okay, IDs are here. Now these records I wanted to update. These records I wanted to update it. And few records I wanted to create it. Few records I wanted to create it. So what I'll do is I'll create, for the one which I needed, I'll add the ID. For the one which I wanted to insert, I'll add here 2 records. Let's say that this is 1 and this is 2. And here I'll give S. Okay. So these are the records that I wanted to update it, and below records I wanted to create it. Now let me save this record, data loader, and we have a upsert. Click on save. Now let's go to the data loader. I'm clicking on an upsert. Upsert is, I'm doing on patient object. Click on this, browse. We have a upsert file, that is a CSV file. Click on next, 7 records. Yes, 7 records. Now here, when we are doing the upsert, it will automatically take what is the matching criteria. Whatever the matching criteria is there, it will automatically take it. In case if there are 2 matching criteria, it will give option, which one do you wanted to make it as a matching criteria. That means what is the matching criteria here is, whenever the data loader is performing the update or insert record, it depends on this ID. If there is a record that has a ID, that means this is update. The one which does not have a ID, that means this is a insert. So based on this, it is going to perform it. Like this, if you have another ID also. So in that case, it will enable this option here, and you can choose which one is the matching criteria for you to upsert it or insert. What are the matching criteria for upsert, update and insert? Now, right now we have a one field ID. So it is automatically taking the ID field, which is a disabled right now. And click on the next. Now, if you go to the create and edit, right now you can see the branch record, because right now we are doing the update as well as insert. So now I'll see match. So auto match, click on this, click on next button, click on finish. Yes. 7 records are successfully created inside the Salesforce. Now, if I go here, right now I can see 9 records are there. Now, I have added 2 records. I have inserted 2 records, and the rest of the records are updated. Now, all of them updated, as well as 2 records are created here. PM1, PM2. Click on OK. Now, that is all about the upsert. And next one, which we have a delete. The next one, which we have a delete. Let's suppose I wanted to delete the record. Let's take the updated one. Click on OK. Now, if I wanted to delete it, there are 5 records. Now, I wanted to delete these records. Only for delete, only ID will be needed. Nothing is required. Basically, ID is required. Though you have a different fields in the CSV file, but that should be all good, because only ID is required in order to delete it. Only ID is required in order to delete it. So I'm going to take ID here. Now, if you click on a next and then click on a finish button. Yes. Warning, one more warning it is going to give you that the number of records allowed you in your recycle bin is limited. The action you are about to take may cause because we are using the developer console, developer edition. So that should be all good because we are deleting only the few records. So successfully deleted. Now, if you go to the Salesforce, now 11 records. If I see here, the records will be sitting in the deleted. Now the 5 records are deleted from here. And there is a one, you can see here, recycle bin. Let's go to the recycle bin. Now you can see the one which are deleted. So these all are deleted. These all are deleted. Now the next one is hard delete. Let's go to the settings and I'll enable the bulk API. Okay, now the hard delete is enabled. So when you switch on that bulk API, the hard delete gets enabled. So let me log in again because I made a changes in the settings. Login is successful. Now here it will give a warning. The warning is, it says, you need the bulk API hard delete user permission to permanently delete the data. You need this information. So basically, if you wanted to do this, okay, if you wanted to do the hard delete, so what you need to do is go to your system settings, the profile that you have. Go to your profile. Now go to the advanced user details. And we have a profile, just open the profile. When you open the profile here, now there is an option called hard delete. There is an option called hard delete. So you need to enable this. You need to enable this. So click on edit of your profile. If this is not enabled, you cannot perform the hard delete from the data loader. It's not enabled. Why I can't enable this? Just a second, I'm trying to enable that. So right now for the system admin, it is not enabled. So what I'll do is I'll go to the system admin. So I'll create a clone of this. Let me create a clone of this. Now let me edit. Basically, I'm creating the copy of system admin so that I can enable this bulk API hard delete. Now click on save. Now this system admin, I'm going to assign it to my user. Click on edit. Now profile is not assigned. So I'll go to this profile, view users, new user. Add multiple users. Let me add my user only here. Salesforce. So, okay, I cannot edit with my username. Let's go to the Gopal Ram. Let me click on edit. Now I'll assign him as a system admin. Click on save. Okay. So right now I'm logged in as a my user. My user has a system administrator profile, and that profile, the bulk API hard delete is unchecked. The bulk API hard delete is unchecked. So let me show you what is happening with that. So I'll click on a browse, and the records that I'm going to use is let me take this record. Okay. So I'm updating here the actual ID, and this I do not need it. And these all details, I do not need it. Click on this ID. That's it. And file, save as data loader. Hard delete .csv file. Click on save. So I'm deleting one record. So let's go to the data loader, click on a browse and hard delete the file. I'm selecting it, click on next. Click on OK. Auto match ID only I need it. So click on next. It is just giving me a kind of a warning message. It says that you are about to permanently delete the data. This cannot be undone and the record will not be available in your recycle bin because we are doing the hard delete here. So I understand. So just check that and click on a finish. Yes. You need the bulk API hard delete user permission to permanently delete the record. See, it is not allowing me to delete the record. Now I need to log in as a different user. I need to log in as a different user. Let me edit the email ID here. So for that, I'm going to create a user here. Okay. I clicked on reset password. So let me edit this. Salesforce system admin, click on save. And let's click on reset password. Okay, it's sent to, okay. I received a reset password. Let me reset the password. Application code. Okay. So now I'll log in as this person. Perfect. So let me log out and click on hard delete. OAuth. Let me give another person. I'm logging in as a different user. For that user, bulk API is enabled. Hard delete bulk API option is enabled in the profile level. Fine. So let's go to the patient, browse, HT, click on open, click on next. One record, yes. Create, auto match, click on OK. Next, I understand. Let me finish it. Yeah. Now the record is deleted. Now if I refresh this, it says that the record is deleted. Right. So basically for the hard delete, two options which are needed, two settings are needed for the hard delete. In order to enable, you need to check this use bulk API. That is one option. And the second one is at the profile level. At the profile level, you need to enable the bulk API hard delete. So you need to enable the bulk API hard delete. So I have enabled here bulk API hard delete, and then I have assigned a user to this profile, and then I logged in as that user. So I logged in as a Messi, and then I did a hard delete. Now we can see that that particular record is deleted from patient object. So those are the options for the data loader. And here you have a same thing, whatever you are able to see. You can also do it from the here, insert, update, upsert, delete, hard delete, export, export all. And settings, those are the settings mainly you need to focus on. In case if you do not want to 2000 records to be processed at a time, you can mention 5 records. Batch size is 5 or batch size is 4, like that you can mention it. That is one. And time mode, in case if you want a specific time mode should be happen. So you can specify the time mode. And that's all, we do not use. These are the mainly. So batch size, insert null values, and the time mode, server host, and then allow field truncation, and use bulk API, enable serial mode bulk API. So these are the options which we use it. And the query request size is by default, it is a 500. That's all about the settings. And the view, like in case if you wanted to view CSV, choose the CSV to select the number of rows to review. Like out of, like you have some empty records also there. Out of that, like how many records you wanted to review it at a time. So those option settings are available here. I'm saying here 1000 rows, and select the CSV to open CSV. Like in case if you wanted to test it, you can open any CSV file. So how many records, how many rows it is going to give you? Around 1000 rows it is going to give you the information. How you wanted to see the success file, how you wanted to see the error file. So these all information setup is available here. In case if you need any details about the data loader, you can click on a help about, and it will give you most of the information like a documentation. What is the copyright, when it is implemented, the data loader. So everything you can see the information here. So that's all about the data loader. Any questions? So we have a trial head links for the data loader. So let me ping you those links. That is the one, and the second one is import and export the data management tool. So apart from the data loader, we can also perform the import export from the different places. Like Salesforce is also have an import option. If you go to the object level, you can see here import option. By using that also you can perform it. By using that also you can perform the import. And there is another one which is called as a, that we will see it later. Workbench is available, the other one. So workbench is we will see later. So here also you can choose the file or standard object or a custom object. You can choose it and add new records, update the existing records, add new and update the existing records. Like a insert, update, upsert. Inserting a new record, then you can select it. And if you wanted to select the CSV file, here, once you select that, cancel, cancel. Now here, whenever you select a new record, it will ask what is the matching record. So I do not want any matching record here because I am inserting the record. So now I can go to the CSV file, click on the CSV file, choose the CSV file, and I can insert the data loader. So I have a insert, click on a open. Now I'm inserting it and click on a next button. It's loading it. Now you see here, it is giving a mapping option. Which one do you want it to map it here? By default, it is not mapped. Branch is not mapped and PN is not mapped. Patient information is not mapped. Now, in this case, how can you edit it? So click on this map. So branch, select this branch, click on a map. Now, similarly, this one is not possible. And this is patient information, select the information and map it. And the next one is patient number, select this patient number, map it. Now I can see only the PN is not available because that field is formula field. Now I have mapped all the fields. So just for mapping, you need to click on here, select the right field and click on it, select the map button. So once it is done, click on the next one. Now you can see here, 4 fields are mapped and one is unmapped because one is formula field. Your selection is patient, object, add new records. This is the CSV file. Start importing it. Now click OK to view the import status. Now I click on OK. Now bulk data load job. So this is the data which you are going to see here. This is a job ID and status is closed. And the object is a patient. Batches or number of batches is completed, 1. Record processed, 3. 2 failed because there might be issue. So we can see here what are those errors. So if you click on a view result, there is a CSV file which is downloaded here, a request.csv. Right, so there is a one record which is failing on it. Right, this is the long text. So those two are failed. Sibita one is the one which is having the right information, that is processed. Record processed, 3 out of them 2 are error, 1 is processed. So now if you go to the patient's object, so in the jobs, we have a bulk data load jobs. If you click on that also, you can see what are the jobs that are running at the bulk data load. Right? So we have done through the data loader. These all options we did it through the data loader. Now, if I go to the patient's object, patient, click on all. Now I can see here Sibita 3 times are available. Fine. So before it was a 5 records, now it is added the 6 records. So all the information you can see here, your organization has processed the 4 batches in the last 24 hours. Your organization can process 15,000 batches in 24 hours period. CPU, how much time it has taken? 1,961 milliseconds. IO is, this is the byte. Disk is, this is the byte. So this is how you can monitor how many records are failed here, how many are successful, everything you can see the details. Workbench, we will see later. Fine, so that's all for today.